Ki Tavo here in Deuteronomy means when you come. The opening verses, the opening pasukim, speak to Israel about taking of the first fruit of the ground. The fruit of the ground, if you'll recall, has been mentioned elsewhere in the Torah. V'haya ki tavo el ha'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha nachala. When it will be when you enter the land, when you go into the land. If we look at this verse, it says when you have entered the land. When you have entered. Okay? A translation that says when you will enter the land is not catching the full force of the tense of the verb bo. That is to say, it should be in the past tense. When you have entered. Therefore, what we have here is God basically promising to Israel that they are going to go in. Why would he tell them when you have entered? Why wouldn't he say, if you enter the land, this is what you are to do? Leaving the room open for there to be a possibility that they might not make it in. But by the verse actually being spoken in the prophetic past tense, kind of like Isaiah 53 where it says, he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. It's the voice of the Lord telling the recipients, that's us reading the passage today, that the event is sure to happen. In fact, from God's point of view, prophetically, it has already happened, because God can see the future from the present. He can see the end from the beginning. So it's a wonderful reality that we pick up here by examining the Hebrew, V'haya ki tavo el ha'aretz, when you have entered the land, when you have come to the land, all right? And now, I want to focus on another part of this passage in the offering itself, the taking of the first fruit. And if we look at Pasuk 2 now, the second verse out of the Stone edition reads this way, that you shall take of the first of every fruit of the ground that you bring in from your land that Hashem your God gives you, and you shall put it in a basket and go to the place that Hashem your God will choose to make his name rest there. I just want to focus on the first part of that passage, of that particular pasuk, where it says that you shall take of the first fruit of the first of every fruit of the ground. The Hebrew says, V'lakachta mereshit kol pri ha'adama. And it's this phrase that I have written in my commentary there. It says there, "V'lakachti mireshit kol pri hadama." When you take of the first fruit of the ground, pri, fruit, and ha'adama, the ground. It goes on to talk about that we offer it to the Lord upon entering the land of promise. Again, to offer the first of the produce of the ground was to affirm and signify that the person was dedicating everything he has to the service of Hashem with this demonstration of his offering of the Pri Ha'adama. And it's important for us to remember that this offering is a declaration of Hashem's faithfulness, that as God swore to our ancestors, he has indeed performed. In other words, as we come into the land, and according to the first pasuk, we will make it to the land if we understand the tense of the verb bo, which means to arrive, and it's already in a perfected state. It's the tense is past tense. Then what we need to understand is that once we have made it to the land, we are now reminded as children of Israel that God promised to our forefathers. He swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov that he would bring us to the land. And now we see verses like this coming into our communities to remind us that once we make it to the land, we are to offer the first of the fruit of the land as a declaration of God's faithfulness and of our service to him. Notice the statement in my commentary, quote, "We have come to the land of promise."